Teenage pregnancy, an occurrence that's all too common in Jamaica. The Women's Center of Jamaica Foundation is tackling this challenge, and we'll hear more about their programs on this Sunday's edition of Issues and Answers. Also, the waiting time has been cut at some government offices, a success of the improved business environment that's being facilitated by the Jamaica Logistics Hub initiative. We talk the global value chain. It's an informative program lined up for you today on Jamaica Magazine. I'm Adrian Atkinson. Please stay with us.
Me 15, me nah run down no baby daddy, me a stay in a school, be married, get my education, so young girls, if you no mess up, get up, brush off and remember, nourish.
That's right. There's absolutely no reason our teenage girls should be rushing to become parents. There is more than enough data worldwide to show that teenage pregnancy is not only financially challenging, but can also challenge the body that's not yet fully developed. Listen up and help steer young girls away from early pregnancy.
Thanks for joining us for Issues and Answers. I'm Ian Boyne. Today we talk about the levels of pregnancy among our young girls. We have with us the Executive Director of the Women's Center of Jamaica Foundation, Zoe Simpson, as well as the Regional Advisor for Sexual and Reproductive Health at the United Nations Population Fund, Dr. Mario Aguilar. We thank you for your company. Good to have you on the show.
Good to be here.
Dr. Aguilar, I want to start with you to give us the regional perspective of this issue. Is it a growing concern, adolescent pregnancy?
It's a very serious concern. Statistics based on the studies made by UNICEF, WHO, the Mona University, and also UNFPA has proved that about for every 100 pregnancies, about 20, depends on who do you read, is between 18 to 21% of them are pregnancies associated with girls who are 15 to 19 years of age. So that's a serious issue. Then you have to take in consideration that a girl at that young stage is not physically developed, is not physically prepared to be a mother. So it's not only about the physical aspect, but the emotional aspect, the economical aspect, the social aspect. This is so the burden for that person is higher than for an adult woman. For example, a young girl who is pregnant, the chances for that young girl to end up in a C-section is higher than a full developed woman because the pelvis is not big enough to allow to have the normal delivery of a baby. The second one, most of the time the young girls, when they get pregnant, they want to hide that pregnancy. So they don't seek for antenatal care.
That's right.
As a result, because they don't have the appropriate antenatal care, there is no way that the medical doctors or the nurses can detect potential problems during delivery or during the pregnancy. There is a high risk also of what is called postpartum depression, and is higher in young girls than in adult women. Hemorrhage during delivery. So you see there is a lot of medical aspects and also social aspects that really affect that.
Yes. How is UNFPA dealing with this challenge? Is there a strategy?
Yes, we are
to combat this?
supporting CARICOM with a regional strategy. They call it Integrated Regional Strategy to Reduce Adolescent Pregnancy in the English and Dutch-speaking Caribbean. And basically, it's a program that started 3 years ago with a series of consultations with different actors, medical doctors, people who work in the ministries of health, universities, Ministry of Education, Ministry of Finances. First of all, to identify what are the causes of adolescent pregnancy. And then, based on the causes of adolescent pregnancy, getting the solutions. And they brought the idea of having 5 pillars. That's 5 basic concepts that can reduce adolescent pregnancy. Number 1 is to increase the accessibility and availability of reproductive health services and commodities for young people. The second one is to increase the access to information about sexuality education, about sexual education. The third one is to review all the laws around the region that hamper the access to reproductive health services for young people. The number 4 is to do an awareness in the society about the harmful practices, cultural practices that affects young girls. And the third one is try to create a South-to-South cooperation program to see best practices in other regions to try to see if those are adaptable to a region.
It seems to the Jamaican case, how are we doing in that area? Is the concern growing, or have we been leveling off? What is the situation in Jamaica?
I think we're doing fairly well in terms of addressing the issue. If we recall that in 1978, when the Women's Center program was conceptualized and when it was established, at that time the teen pregnancy rate was at 31, 32, 33%. After all these years though and the various interventions, it's now down. In 2008, I think it was when we had the last research done, the rate's now down to 18%. No, that's a far
a significant drop.
Down. And we're trending down because like now
we're trending down.
I want to think so outside of the research, really want to think so based on the recruitment patterns that we're finding. Excuse me. In about 5 years ago, we had like 1,500 girls registered in the program across Island.
How many centers across Island?
We have 7 main centers and 11 outreach stations. We are in all the parishes.
You're in all the parishes?
All the parishes. The mandate of the program is for the girls to continue their education during the pregnancy, be reintegrated into the formal school system, and complete their secondary education. There's just no way to negotiate around the education of an adolescent mother. So I was making the point earlier that years ago we had 5 years ago we had 1,500 girls, and then after that we had 402, then 1,400, then 1,376. Our last count was 1,288. And yes, we do not see all the girls, mind you, but then we also keep a tab on the girls who do not access the program, and we are really recognizing that the numbers are trending down. Another thing we're finding is that the girls are getting pregnant at a later age. Yes, so 16 plus 17, and the dynamics around that is at 17 they would have been out of secondary school. So I'm not so sure. Again, some research must be done now to really get a better picture, a scientific picture as to what exactly is happening adolescent pregnancy. We really don't want the girls pregnant, and so we're happy to see the numbers trending down, mind you. But there's a lot more work to be done in terms of getting our girls where they
Any new initiatives from the Women's Center?
What's jumping in my mind right away is the reintegration policy that was accepted by Cabinet in 2013. And by virtue of the policy, it is mandatory for all the girls to regain their spaces in the high schools. Prior to 2013, we had to beg and beseech, and you know, we stood the risk of principals telling us, I'm very sorry, doors closed, missed opportunity. Now, by virtue of the policy, her space is there and she goes back to school. So what we do now is to send the names of the girls who have completed the program, the first part of the program. We send those names down to the Ministry of Education, and the education officers are the ones who now find the space for the girls and just inform us that girl A is at school A, kind of a thing. So that's one thing. I want to make the point too that the girls who were registered to sit their CXCs, they are also part of the program. So we have the Csec Program, and the center in Kingston is an examination site. So a girl is in grade 11, she's pregnant, she really can come to the Women's Center where she's allowed the opportunity to sit her exams. We prepare her for the exams. The girls from rural would come to the Kingston Center, and there's a dormitory in prior years that the girls would be at for during the course of the week, and then they go home. What we're finding in recent times, the girls are not wanting to come from, say, Montego Bay, any rural site side to Kingston, but the crime rates, I suppose, are higher. And then too, they do not want to leave their babies for a whole stretch of a week even, and the expense of commuting each week even. So what we're now doing is we're taking the education to them. You see, they really do not have to defer their CXCs for a whole year because they're rural and pregnant kind of a thing. So now we're by distant learning, and that's something that is really catching on across the globe. We are transmitting the tutoring from Kingston to the centers in the rural countries.
Lots of things happening in terms of tackling the issue of adolescent pregnancy in Jamaica. That's the issue we are discussing. We take a break, but we'll be right back.
Hello everyone, you're watching Issues and Answers with Ian Boyne, the program where you get all your information about current affairs and government programs and policies.
Parents, take your place. Talk to your child about sex.
Adolescent pregnancy is the issue we're discussing today on Issues and Answers. Ms. Simpson, the achievements of your center over the last 37 years, what have been some of the significant achievements?
Since the last 37 years, we have seen in excess of 46,000 adolescent mothers. Right? I think that is really commendable because it's not just the girl now, it's the girl and her baby. So for every girl, you're thinking two, even. So then to rescue so many of our adolescents, I think is commendable, if I may say, blow my own our own trumpets, mind you. But then too, I want to hasten to say that the second pregnancy rate among those girls who participate in the Women's Center program has remained well below 2% since inception. So as the research
Below
shows,
2%?
below 2%.
It's a phenomenal success.
Thank you very much. The girls who come to the Women's Center are less likely to have a repeat pregnancy as against those girls who do not come. And that's the reason why we encourage the girls to come to this program of intervention. This is where it's happening for teen mothers.
Ms. Simpson, that is so effective apparently. What is it about the program?
We understand the adolescent and the dynamics of the pregnancy, and we understand that this is a mistake, and so it's already bad. She feels bad about herself. Her self-esteem is really down in the gutters. The society does not any longer need to be dumping more things. She feels bad about this. Contrary to popular belief, these girls are not less ambitious than anybody else. They're not bad and cruel and kind of, they made a mistake. A lot of things are happening in these adolescent years. And unfortunately, the society has not prepared these girls, and the boys too, mind you, to come to terms with these issues that face them as adolescents even. Sex is all over the place and in their faces and in their spaces. So they're invited to have sex, but they're not told how, and the repercussions and so on. The girls who come to us, they are frightened by this thing that's happening inside of them. So they come to the Women's Center because they know, and we allow them to feel that, hey, so you're pregnant, it's not the end of your world. You can get up and square your shoulders and put on your spike heel later on and get your handbag and face society and face other hurdles. So we prepare them with these skills to be able to navigate the other issues that confront them beyond this pregnancy. And so we help them to recognize that they must get up. And we will walk beside you. And we encourage the parents to do the same. And we encourage the wider society to do the same. So we really applaud those girls who leave their homes, and yes, it's showing and everybody is knowing now, and they feel bad, and the parents also feel disappointed, and the community feels disappointed. But we're saying to them, hey, this is only 9 months. Mind you, you have the child for the rest of his or her life and so on. But you can go on. And another success we have, the majority of these girls go back and complete.
Yes.
And that's what we really applaud. So they come back to us in their uniforms and they feel so good. It's a vast difference now from when they came to us crying in tears and everything. And when they go back to school and they come back and say, hey, look at me now, kind of a thing. And any profession that you can think of, you would find a past student of the Women's Center.
Absolutely.
Any profession. And we encourage them to live your dream, girl. Get up and live your dream. You can do it. And which is why we also encourage the past students to come back. And let the girls who are now going through this recognize that, hey, I did it. So guess what? Hey, my girl, you can do it too.
You can do it. Okay. Yeah. Doctor, we want to talk about some of the other effects, though, of adolescent pregnancy. Not just on the girls themselves, but on the society. Give us a sense of why this is something we should avoid.
Adolescent pregnancy is not a problem just for the girl who is pregnant or the family of the girl or the father of the baby. It's a society issue also. It's a very serious issue in regards of the future. And I would like to share with you a study made by CARICOM in 2009 that is related with the cost related with adolescent pregnancy. And it literally says, in addition to depriving adolescent of fully exercising their rights and growing to their fullest potential, the cost and benefits of investing in young people includes a direct effect in the GDP. They found that the direct cost per adolescent mother in the Caribbean was approximately $2,000 per year. The total cost in the region is then about 2.4% of the GDP. But if you add all the opportunities cost of adolescent girls that they are not growing to the full potential, that climbs up to 12.3%.
Oh, so the opportunity cost is high.
So it's not only about a health issue, which is a very serious issue.
You have highlighted that.
Not only for the mother, but also for the baby. The percentage of newborn deaths is higher the younger the women are than when the woman is mature.
Yes.
The fact that they don't have a good nutrition during pregnancy because they want to hide the pregnancy, that also affect the baby. Folic acid. Lack of folic acid is associated with spina bifida or neural tube disorders. And most of the young girls who are in reproductive age, they don't intake folic acid. So this is something that it really affect the population. And the products of those pregnancies are the future of the country.
That's true. Absolutely.
So we cannot just think that it's not a problem. It's a serious problem.
So it's a depletion of our human capital.
Absolutely.
The Women's Center of Jamaica Foundation Executive Director Zoe Simpson has been here with us, as well as the Regional Advisor for Sexual and Reproductive Health at the United Nations Population Fund, Dr. Mario Aguilar. We've been talking about adolescent pregnancy. It was good to have your company. Next week I'll be back. Until then, Ian Boyne wishing you a pleasant day.
Just this past week, Industry Minister Anthony Hilton toured the $2 billion logistics infrastructure project at Kingston Wharves Limited. Jamaica is well on the way to being the fourth node in the global logistics chain as local and international investments come in. Plus, the business environment has greatly improved. I'll say no more. Just watch this.
Investors spending millions of dollars and thousands of Jamaicans being trained in logistics. The business environment is prepared to compete globally. By all accounts, Jamaica is well on her way to a logistics-centered economy.
Let's now focus on what logistics and the Logistics Hub Trust is about. I like to use an analogy with the Coronation Market. Simply put, Coronation Market is one specific location. Goods are coming into the Coronation Market from varying points of Jamaica. That's the farmers who bring the goods in. When it gets to the Coronation Market, in the first instance, the persons who are selling these goods add value to it. It's cleaned, it's bagged, it's processed in some small form in some instances. And then it's sold to a consumer, it's sold to a business place, it's sold to a caterer, varying people who add additional value to it. So then we take that concept and we put Jamaica in as the logistics hub. And for sure what we need to speak about is Jamaica becoming a logistics hub.
That central point where suppliers, service providers, and global businesses can converge. While our laws and systems take shape, the world is noticing that our little island is the perfect destination for doing business. So much so that hundreds of Jamaicans have found jobs in sectors like business process outsourcing, in call centers like this one. But before these men and women could have been hired, a proper framework had to be laid, including training and legislative reform. There have been new developments in the area of education and training. Jamaicans in rural and urban parishes have been armed with a multiplicity of skills. From information on what is logistics to understanding what a container is and how many loads a shipment may contain, to training at the secondary to tertiary level in logistics and supply chain management.
We have conducted 34,850 participants. We have conducted this training to face-to-face, in addition to several online and different, using social media.
The ship said, why don't we reorganize ourselves like the airline?
Training began with a course called Logistics 101. It's now been expanded to Logistics 102.
The 102 is an advanced course which again will make free of cost to the public. And this is now a 2-day training program, which we are now going to a specialized module where we're doing logistics and supply chain operations. We'll start by looking at the changes in the whole logistics industry, the impact of globalization, how branding affects, everything, the economic zones. And we're going to take this, as a slice where we get deeper and give people certain tools to be able to analyze the global industry. And this is a must-do.
Business people have also been given technical and financial support to strengthen their institutional capacity. The Jamaica Business Development Corporation, the JBDC, has played a key role with its island-wide mobile business clinics. Hundreds of small business operators are now equipped with the proper knowledge to advance their companies and improve job creation.
We have adjusted our business model to address those issues. For instance, we know that the whole business of global standards is critical because we're not operating within your parish, you're operating within the global market space. So they must be familiar and understand that global standards must apply to the services and products that they will be offering to the market.
Legislative reform is another critical strategy to position Jamaica as the fourth major node in the global logistics chain. Industry, Investment and Commerce Minister Anthony Hilton has spearheaded legislative reform and has implemented policies to ensure businesses can become more globally competitive. One new piece of legislation is the Insolvency Act, which consolidates the laws relating to bankruptcy, insolvency, receiverships, provisional supervision, and winding up.
The Ministry of Investment and Commerce has been doing a lot of work where MSMEs are concerned. So the Ministry of Industry and Commerce went ahead, they did an MSME policy, which really laid the fundamental groundwork for MSMEs to establish and have sustainable businesses in Jamaica. They have been a part of training programs in conjunction with the Development Bank of Jamaica provides grant funding for MSMEs to really improve the governance structures of their businesses.
Legislative reforms have revolutionized the local business environment, putting Jamaica at the top of several reports, such as the World Bank's Doing Business Report, the World Economic Forum's Global Competitiveness Report, Forbes' Best Countries for Business list, and the World Bank's Logistics Performance Index.
The business environment, I mean, the businesses and businesses that interact with the tax office, businesses that interact with the various government agencies, now will tell you, they will testify that the business environment as compared to probably a couple of years ago has greatly improved. A lot of stuff that they used to take months or a long time to get done is now happening at a very fast pace. Contractors are getting their plans approved even quicker. That means quite a few stuff has happened.
The government, through the ministry, has also attracted investors to build businesses to employ more Jamaicans, so much so that the country is being referred to as the sweet spot for investors. Following the Jamaica Investment Forum in 2012, the Sutherland Global Solutions Business Process Outsourcing Center was opened. Then in 2015, the ministry once again, through its agency, the Jamaica Promotions Corporation, hosted Jamaica's premier business event, welcoming more than 184 investors for 3 days in Montego Bay under the theme, Let's Do Business. The second Jamaica Investment Forum focused on displaying bankable projects with opportunities for public-private partnerships, the sale and development of property, and promoting joint ventures. More than $1 billion worth of projects were on show for investors who were notably impressed.
So if we, for a second, just drop off the logistics side and then focus on sustainable development. The objective is to ensure that we gain sustainable growth. The focus of logistics is based on the trend and changes in the global market. One of the first thing, again, the ministry has been focused on is, for varying reasons, how do we improve our Free Zone Act? The Free Zone Act of the past was, well, where the WTO is concerned, had some subsidies and incentives in there that the World Trade Organization has said they no longer want in policies of that nature, such as 85% of what you manufactured there had to be exported, only 15%, etc., could go into the local economy. So we now look at the special economic zone regime to allow for backward linkages, allowing for the local economy to benefit significantly more, but also modernize it in such that it becomes more competitive to the rest of the world.
This would move Jamaica from simply being a transshipment port to a hub where value can be added, where industries can be created and jobs multiplied.
If you're that type of business who want to get involved in, for example, logistics businesses, you can get the necessary training. Training is available. Training provided by the Caribbean Maritime Institute. I know Fritz Pinnock, leading the Caribbean Maritime Institute, has gone ahead and prepared several programs preemptively to take advantage of the opportunities that are going to be presented. The Heart NTA is doing some amount of training, and you would have heard about Logistics 101 and 102, which has a free component in it that really provides training and really providing the information for businesses to take advantage of the opportunities that are going to be presented in the future.
Positioning Jamaica as the fourth major node on the global logistics chain is not an overnight job. It has taken years of planning and reform, training and commitment to a long-term vision. The Jamaica Logistics Hub initiative is not a place. It's not a designated factory. It's a combination of activities and industries, all designed to ensure the country can offer the best services and goods to the world. Through institutional strengthening, capacity building, technical support, and legislative reform, investors are coming and businesses are being rolled out.
I leave you with these words as you start your week. Start where you are. Use what you have. Do what you can. A motivational quote from African-American Arthur Ashe. I'm Adrian Atkinson signing off for Jamaica Magazine. For more on the Women's Center Foundation of Jamaica and its work to curb teenage pregnancy, click on our webpage, jis.gov.jm. We're also on YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. So log on and stay in the know. Have yourselves a happy Sunday.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.